Imagine standing in Rome. The sun is warm on your face. A giant oval-shaped building of stone rises before you. This is the Colosseum. We all have a picture of it. Brave gladiators fighting, roaring crowds, powerful emperors giving thumbs up or thumbs down. But that image is only half the story. The truth is far more complex and more amazing. A marvel of engineering, a masterpiece of stagecraft, a place of incredible hidden machinery. The real magic happened beneath the sand. The Colosseum, the Flavian amphitheater, was built to be the greatest entertainment venue ever. A statement of power, a gift from the Flavian dynasty. When it opened in AD 80, it staged 100 days of games. These were not simple duels. They were full-scale productions, wild animals from across the empire, intricate sets like forests or mountains, even battles fought on water. How did they do it? The answer? A maze of tunnels and chambers under the arena. The Hypogeum. To understand it, we must become detectives. Look past the romantic gladiator image and peer into the shadows. Imagine the sounds and smells of the frantic world underground. Workers, engineers, animal handlers. Complex machines and elevators creating theatrical shocks for 50,000 spectators. Stagehands of the deadliest show on Earth. The arena soaked up blood and hid the secrets that made it possible. Building the Colosseum was a monumental task, a project on a scale that is hard to comprehend even now. Construction began under the Emperor Vespasian around AD 72 and was completed by his son Titus in AD 80. Think about that. In just 8 years they erected this colossal structure which stood nearly 50 meters tall. It was made from over 100,000 cubic meters of travertine stone, held together not with mortar but with 300 tons of iron clamps. This immense quantity of stone was quarried in Tivoli, about 20 miles away. Transporting these massive blocks to the construction site in the heart of Rome was a huge logistical challenge, requiring thousands of workers and countless ox-drawn carts. The Romans were masters of architecture, and the Colosseum showcases some of their most brilliant innovations. One of the keys to its success was the arch. If you look at the Colosseum's exterior, you see it is composed of arches, stacked one on top of the other in 3 tiers. This design was not just for beauty. The arches distributed the immense weight of the structure evenly, allowing it to be built so high without collapsing. They also created dozens of entrances and exits on the ground floor, known as vomitoria. This system was so efficient that it could allow all 50,000 spectators to enter and find their seats, or exit the building in a matter of minutes, a design that modern stadium architects still admire and copy. Inside, the seating, or cavea, was a perfect reflection of Roman social hierarchy. Society was strictly divided, and your ticket, a pottery shard called a tessera, told you exactly which entrance and section to use. If the seating area was the body of the Colosseum, its soul was hidden underground. Beneath the wooden, sand-covered floor of the arena lay a complex 2-story network tunnels, passages chambers known as the Hypogeum. This name comes from the Greek for underground. For centuries this area was buried under rubble and earth, its secrets forgotten. It was only in the 19th century that archaeologists began to excavate it, revealing the astonishing mechanical heart of the building. Walking through its narrow corridors today, you can almost hear the echoes of the frantic activity that once filled this space. It was dark, cramped, and filled with the smell of wild animals' sweat and oil from the lamps. This underground world was the engine that powered the spectacles above. It was here that gladiators would wait for their turn to fight, hearing the roar of the crowd above them. It was here that wild animals, captured from as far away as Africa, the Middle East, were kept in cages. Lions, tigers, bears, leopards, crocodiles were all housed in this subterranean zoo. Imagine the noise and the tension of this space. The snarling of caged beasts, the clanking of chains, and the shouted orders of stagehands all mixed together in the flickering torchlight. This was the backstage area for the most elaborate and dangerous theater production in history. The Hypogeum was a masterpiece of practical engineering designed for efficiency and surprise. It contained a series of vertical shafts connecting the underground level directly to the arena floor. Within these shafts were wooden elevators, or pegmata. These were simple but effective lifts, operated by ropes, pulleys, and capstans, large rotating drums turned by teams of strong men. These elevators were used to hoist animals' scenery, and even performers up to the arena level. The system was designed to create dramatic entrances. One moment the arena floor would be empty, and the next, a snarling lion would appear as if by magic, rising up through a hidden trapdoor. The entire system was a carefully choreographed ballet of men and machines. Dozens of trapdoors were built into the arena floor connecting to the lifts below. Stage managers would use signals to coordinate the timing of each entrance. A flag wave or a trumpet blast would be the cue for a team of workers in the hypogeum to begin turning a capstan, raising a cage into position. When the cage reached the top, another mechanism would open the trapdoor, and the cage door simultaneously, a worker unlatched the cage. The animal moved up the ramp onto the sand. Action flowed continuously. One animal down, another up. The crowd never bored. Same tech, different uses. Human performers too. Gladiators rising into the center. Huge cheers. Perhaps the most mind-boggling spectacle ever staged in the Colosseum was the Naumachia, or Mach Sea battle. Historical accounts, including those from the poet Martial, described the arena being flooded to float specially designed flat-bottomed ships. These were not just small-scale reenactments. They were epic productions involving thousands of men, acting as sailors who would fight to the death on the water. These events were incredibly popular, recreating famous naval victories from Roman history for the entertainment of the masses. How on earth did they manage to turn a stone amphitheater into a giant swimming pool? The answer lies in the Colosseum's early design and its sophisticated water management systems. Historians believe that these large-scale naval battles only took place in the very early years of the Colosseum. Before the permanent wooden floor, the complex hypogeum with its elevators were fully installed. During this initial phase, the central arena area was a simpler open basin. It was connected to a nearby aqueduct, the Aqua Claudia, through a series of underground pipes and channels. By opening a series of sluice gates, Roman engineers could divert a massive amount of water and flood the arena to a depth of about 1.5 meters in just a few hours. The ships used in these battles were real, just smaller and with shallower drafts than their seagoing counterparts. They were big enough to carry dozens of fighters. These sailors were often prisoners of war, criminals condemned to die, who were forced to reenact historical battles. While the gladiators and emperors were the stars of the show, the Colosseum could not have functioned without a vast, unseen army of workers. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people were involved in the logistics of putting on a single day of games. These were the stagehands, the engineers, the animal handlers, the armorers, and the cleanup crews. Most of them were slaves or low-status freemen, and their work was difficult, dangerous, and completely unglamorous. They toiled in the dark, noisy confines of the hypogeum or behind the scenes, far from the cheering crowds. Their names are lost to history, but their labor was the foundation of the entire spectacle. The animal handlers, known as venatores or bestiarii, though the latter term also applied to the fighters, had one of the most dangerous jobs. They were responsible for sourcing, transporting, and caring for the thousands of wild animals brought to Rome. This was a massive industry. Lions from North Africa, bears from Germany, crocodiles from Egypt, and shipped to Rome. The handlers had to keep these terrified, aggressive animals alive and relatively healthy in the dark pens beneath the arena. They had to feed them, move them into the lift cages, and prod them out onto the sand at the right moment, all while trying to avoid being mauled. Then there were the machinists and engineers. The games at the Colosseum continued for nearly 400 years after it opened. The last recorded gladiatorial combat took place in the early 5th century. The final animal hunts occurred about a century later. As the Western Roman Empire declined, the cost and logistics of staging such elaborate spectacles became impossible to maintain. Christianity's rise brought a shift in public morality. The brutal games fell out of favor. The Colosseum was gradually abandoned. Over the centuries, it suffered damage from earthquakes and from stone robbers who treated it as a convenient quarry. They stripped marble seats and removed iron clamps to build palaces and churches across Rome. Despite neglect and damage, the Colosseum never lost its power as a symbol. Even in the Middle Ages, it was overgrown with plants and rumored to be haunted, yet it remained a looming, awe-inspiring landmark. It served as a fortress for noble families, a housing complex, and even a wool factory. It became a destination for pilgrims, and later for wealthy young Grand Tour visitors. Its ruined state added to its romantic appeal, a poignant reminder of the glory and fall of ancient Rome. It stood as a testament to human ingenuity and human cruelty. Today, the Colosseum is the most recognizable symbol of Rome, and one of the world's most visited tourist attractions.